Hello everybody, and just here, and welcome back to Tensei Shitara Ken Deshita, the Sword Sekai, the adventures of the dragon-slaying guts of a lolly cat girl. I guess that's like the best summary of the series you can get. But yeah, welcome to episode 5. It's a little bit delayed, so that's first and foremost. If you want to know why I released a vlog thingy where I explain things, but basically, having a job kind of fucks your schedule. Who'd have thunk, right? In any case, it's here, it's now, so we can watch it. In the previous episode, what happened? Well, Shishou got a scabbard from the old blacksmith dude. We learned a little bit about fixing gear, about what kinds of magic. It is magic, right? They use those crystal thingamajigs and can fix gear using that. And of course, the more destroyed the gear is, and the more times you perform that repair, the more of that catalyst crystal the repair costs, which is a very interesting system. And I wonder, I mean, surely there is a way to just fix the gear manually, just, grab some duct tape and stuff and fix it. I wonder if that's gonna come into play, where they maybe have to wait a couple of months for their gear to be fixed because it just takes this long and they don't have crystals, or maybe there's a shortage of crystals in some city, and Shishou and Fran have to be the ones to defend that city because everybody else has broken gear and there's nobody to fix it. I wonder if it's a Chekhov's gun, or is it just a detail about the world that we were simply told to give us a little bit more insight into the world, into its mechanics. And of course, the most significant thing is that we went goblin slaying in full with a whole party of adventurers. That party of adventurers is just kind of useless, as it turns out, because they were attacked by goblins and they started panicking, running like headless chicken, and that's about that. And Fran has to do their job, which she doesn't mind. I don't think she's able to essentially replace the entire group of adventurers. She and Shishou, of course, are simply this powerful. And we cut off the episode as Fran was about to enter the Goblin Cave and do some goblin slaying in the Goblin Cave. I wonder if she's gonna meet our certain helmeted gentleman hunting inside. It would be kind of cool to have a crossover episode, like an OVA kind of thing, kind of like Isekai Quartet, but it's Fran and Goblin Slayer just hanging around slaying goblins. I think that'd be neat. But yeah, regardless of that, we're gonna watch this episode, episode 5, and you're gonna need your subs, of course. I'm gonna need my sound, of course, and I'm gonna, of course, have to ask you for your support. You can support the channel if you want monetarily. Patreon, Throne, links in the description, or completely free. No need to spend any money. Share my content, spread the word. It helps the channel a lot. And with that out of the way, we can start watching episode 5 of Tensei Shitara Ken Deshita in 3, 2, 1, go. Dungeon Master! Okay, last time on Dragon Ball Z, essentially. Just some assorted fruits tea. Right? All sorts of skills, or all sorts of abilities, all sorts of magic. I mean, if there's anybody who can do that, it's probably her. Let's be honest. Maybe Donadrond. She probably will. Right. You can't push yourself that much. You need to leave yourself an out. Can't get surrounded. Okay, that's cool. That's useful. Just having a recall item. What was that about split mind? I guess second illusory sword? No. Doesn't seem to be the case. Sus. Sus. Sus, Amogus sus. Are you for real? Uh that word has been destroyed utterly and irrevocably. But yeah, great music as always. It's always the same track, but it's a great track. Interesting that not everybody has crystals. Skip. Okay, what does the split mind do? Okay, allows to cast two skills at once. Two of the same skill at once. That's useful. Can you use a split mind and then double cast split mind into four? Okay, so she can use it as well. Yeah, that actually makes sense. There's no head to hurt. Looks about dangerous enough for the boss to be there. Sure. The king, I'm assuming, or both the king and the queen? For a moment, I thought we're not gonna get an opening, but no, we're getting one. I have some weird horizontal line going through my screen. Like a pixel thick. Weird. It's my newest screen too, which is like why my oldest screen, like good old uh, TF TFC the old one, TFT works perfectly fine. The colors are off, but it works just fine. And the brand new IPS just has a horizontal line going through it. Although that could also be a connection. Uh, this one still uses the blue connection with the screws. This one uses, I think, HDMI, and I only have DisplayPort on my GPU. So I had to go through like two, I think, two converters on this one converter on this one, or two on both. Can't remember. But yeah, things are going on. Things are getting weird with those connections. So a faulty cable or a faulty transcoder or whatever. And the line isn't here anymore. Figures. That's actually a good idea. They're probably gonna run towards their leaders to warn them. So just follow them and you're gonna meet the king and the queen. That's a Sarlacc pit. Not as incredible as Fran. Yeah, all the trash mobs. The rest were killed. Yeah, exactly. That's a factor for sure. Although with Shishou's help, a lot of the downsides of being a kid are just taken care of. Like, I don't know, naivete and things like that. Eagerness to fight. Kind of a Yojo Senki, Tanya Degorechov situation. Man, I can't wait for Yojo Senki Season 2. When's that coming out? Yeah, you probably want to keep your distance. Or just attack them from range as well. They only seem to have melee weapons. Just orbital bombardment, essentially. Artillery first, then infantry. To kill what hasn't died. Seems to be the case. How could you? Yeah, poor Fran. Unless, yeah, there's someone else still. That one with like five eyes on one side of its head. Yeah, this fight is yours, Fran. She gets to kill. She gets to rip and tear, and nothing makes Fran happier than a chance to rip and tear until it is done. I thought they're flying goblins for a moment. But no, just CG beetles. Okay, so essentially like bees. They're divided in classes and whatnot. Also, medic, shooter, and stuff means probably some useless abilities. Some healing and stuff. That's a great strategy. Hold them in place telekinetically so that she can just slash them up without an issue. And there is still more. Yeah. Is there a queen? Yeah, probably a queen spawning more. Summon minion. That's gonna be useful. Being able to summon some beetles for help. Hopefully the leader isn't the... Although no, Fran killed it. So even if that beetle is the dungeon master, that means she got to kill it. Yeah, she's leveling fast. Salmon minion. Okay. Another boss battle, I'm assuming. The five-eyed? Probably. Probably not. Okay, buff her up like Eins. Are we doing an Eins? Are we doing an Eins? Greater hardening. Greater protection from arrows. False data life. What else was there? Greater hardening. And I remember Noryoku Kojo, Noryoku Jo Kojo. Everybody was casting that in Overlord. Okay. We're gonna eat us some curry. Okay, who's the boss? Who's that Pokemon? Sentient Orb? Oh, it speaks. A demon of sorts. Oh, he's doing the Truni pose. Decently well. About that. About that. About that. Yeah, she's already past the second set of doors. Is probably more powerful. Probably. Although for someone with this level of like intelligence and power, this dungeon is kinda nothing, honestly. Would have expected some, I don't know, more traps, things like that. More intelligent solutions than just a swarm of monsters. It has a skill taker skill. I wonder if he's able to copy the skills of others or take them. Because if just copy, then match made in heaven. If take them, then Shishou might have issue. Oh, that's the dungeon master. Yeah, the five-eyed ones, one or four-eyed one rather. How did a random deformed goblin make a pact with a demon? Yeah, that's a question I have. Okay, so that's something you can do apparently. That startled me. You probably don't have control over it. Yeah. He's probably here just because he was bored and thought that guarding a dungeon is gonna be a fun pastime. It's one of the like legendary sword things. Oh no, it's just enchanted. I thought it's one of the ones that were made by godsmiths. And there goes the sword. Emphasize on that. Yep. Okay, he can just summon that sword. That's a problem. Can't exactly disarm him. Yep. Teleports behind you. Nothing personal, kid. Exactly. Ooh. Oh. Oh. I did not expect that. Okay. At least it's fixed. That really killed my vibe. In like a good way. Yeah. Yeah, teleports behind you, it's called. AKA, nothing personnel. Great sound design to that skill, though, by the way. Or running really fast. Invisibility, then run, then turn invisibility off, something like that. Materializing his own shadow. Probably shadow. Appearing out of Fran's shadow. Exactly. Stab your shadow. And now he didn't disappear for some reason. Because Fran wasn't casting a shadow, so he had nowhere to teleport to? Couldn't he have teleported to the goblin's shadow, though, or something? That's a big fight very early on in the season. Teleport out. Use the feather. Yeah. If not now, then the next time. Oh, there's a cut. Motivated by food, nothing more anime than that. Some cool battle music. Skill taker. Use the feather. Too late. Took her skills away. Yeah, so it's not a copy. Although, Shishou still has those skills. So... Yeah, because he took the skills from Fran, not from Shishou. So Shishou can just grant them back to Fran. I think. That's a predicament, though. That's a very big, very serious boss battle 5 episodes into the season. We still have, what, 7 more episodes to go. And the source material goes for even longer. Interesting. I wonder if we're gonna do something like a... I don't want to say a depowering arc, though it sometimes is in anime where the main character loses the powers and the skills and whatnot and has to regain them, or has to learn to fight without those skills and emerges even more powerful because of that. But I wonder if we're gonna go through something like that. Probably not. Or are we going through just we're gonna escape, or maybe we're gonna beat the demon enough so that the demon escapes and he's gonna be like a recurring villain, essentially. And then at the end of the season, we're gonna have another big fight with him. That's possible. The greater demon cheated. Indeed, took your skills. Can't have shit in Detroit. And that's about it. That was a very short episode. I know that it's like 24 minutes already on the timer, but it really felt short. Like short. Damn. Okay, time flies fast when you're having fun, I guess. Okay, so now, as always, we're gonna go through it again, shall we? Yeah, last time on Dragon Ball Z, Sonic Wave, and so on. Yeah, we can use the feather. Do you need to spend like some time casting the feather magic or something, and that's why they couldn't just use it? I guess depends on just how gamified this world is, or I guess it also depends on the mechanics of this feather, because sometimes items like that are just you pull it out, you I don't know, crack it open, and then you just vanish and you reappear wherever. It's super fast, super simple, super convenient. Sometimes you have to like I don't know, kneel down and pray to the feather or whatever, and that takes like a minute, and only then you recall. It also differs between like games, for example. Sometimes you can recall just like that, and sometimes you have to be like I don't know, 5 minutes away from combat or something like that, and only then you can recall. So I wonder how it works in this world. Seeing how they didn't use that feather when they could have before the demon stole of the skill, while the demon was just standing there, turned his back to them and was monologuing, they could have used the feather. The fact that they didn't makes me think that perhaps it does have a cast time. I don't know. We'll see. Split mind, yeah, initially I didn't get what that is, but it just allows him to cast twice, essentially. Ignoring the weak monsters, the ones without crystals, focusing on the ones with crystals. Yeah, just getting rid of the trash. and uh, and taking down the strong ones, the useful ones. Yeah, this king and queen of goblins were really being hyped up as those like big bad bosses. And as it turns out, they were just a bunch of nobodies that were just like that, killed by Shishou. Not even any input from Fran. Doesn't seem like there are enough corpses for the amount we thought would stampede. I'm guessing that's because Fran is gathering those corpses into her storage. I think that's why. Yeah, I think that's why. What's the deal with Fran? Super strong, but still a kid. That is an issue. Very much so. She's headstrong. She's very impulsive. She's very stubborn. She doesn't have that like wisdom that comes with age of sorts. She's also not as physically fit as an adult would be, so there are downsides to that. But of course, yeah, she has all sorts of skills from Shishou to make up for it, and then some. And her small body is an advantage because she can be super agile. That's another thing that made me immediately think of Yojo Senki, where Tanya has super big advantage in dogfights because she's such a small target. Is such a small target. Yeah, we can just attack with artillery to get rid of the mob, and then you can take on the king and the queen, but alas, artillery was enough to take down the king and the queen. And Fran is sad, because she really wanted to rip and tear. How could you have taken the pleasure of ripping and tearing from her, Shishou? How could you? Thankfully, there's more fights. One being those bugs. I was wondering if that might be the final boss, like some bug queen, essentially like a nest with a queen somewhere, and you have to kill the queen to get rid of the dungeon. But no, it's just the goblin's idea of a trap, essentially. And here comes the final boss. Resistances, boost senses, and all sorts of buffs. Not enough. Not quite enough. Yeah? His mana tank is full at least. That's good. That's good because you're gonna need it. And this is just like funny. Just like plain funny. In very, I don't know, very looks at the camera sort of comedic way. Where it's like, oh, I hope they're not gonna see any issues in their fight with the dungeon. Oh, I hope there's nothing, not like a big scary monster at the bottom. Cue laugh track, right? This kind of a comedy. And it works perfectly fine. Monster, demon, digging, dark magic, intimidate, transport, terror, sword art, sword mastery, status element resistance, earth magic, status element resistance. That's probably why poison doesn't work all that well. Poison magic, mana barrier, shadow magic, cooking, also has cooking, and has dark immunity, dark side, mana regen, insubordination. That's probably why the goblin wasn't able to fully control him, or control him at all. Tough hide, improved mana, improved strength, and skill taker. Skill taker. And it's just a rare goblin, a fiend, digging, summon minion, club mastery, mind reading, beast training, vigor. Yeah, that's about it. And it has an oak club, although it looks more like a staff. Leather robe, bracelets of sacrifice. Cool. That's gonna be some great loot on him. I can understand gobs leading gobs and bags, yeah, but is this guy really strong enough to command a B rank demon? No. Demons do what demons wanna do. That's really as simple as that. Uh, I I read a book uh, back in the days. As a kid, I was really into that, like occult and summoning demons and creating chakra shields and talking to trees, shit like that. A very chuny phase of my life, essentially. And I remember reading a book on some stuff like that, and it had a passage where or a chapter, I don't know. Essentially, it said that sure you can summon a demon to control, but you have no guarantee that you're gonna summon a demon that you can actually control. You have no control over what kind of a demon you summon. You think you're summoning like a low level imp and you're gonna be able to control it, but here comes motherfucking Beelzebub, and you're not gonna be able to control him, and he's already summoned, and tough shit, right? So that kind of reminds me of the same situation. Maybe it's the same mechanic. I don't know, I'm not sure, but essentially the goblin summoned a demon, thought he's gonna be able to control him. No, no, you have no control over who you're gonna summon. Uh, yeah, the demon just turns against the goblin because why is this demon so disobedient? Well, first of all, because it has insubordination skills. Second of all, it just outranks you, and he's here just to have fun. Probably. Here they mention explicitly insubordination. I wonder if that's all, or is he actually here? I think he's actually here just to have fun. He saw an opening, someone summoning a demon, and thought, oh, hey, I haven't had fun in a while. I'm just gonna jump through the portal and I'm gonna get summoned. Sword strong enough to withstand this one. Enchanted steel longsword. Mana conductivity C+. We don't know how that's numerically. But yeah, returning shadow. So that's scale to recall the weapon, which is useful. And here comes the most shocking uh, moment of this entire episode, of this entire season so far, honestly. We are so used to anime protagonists just getting into a fight with the demon lord and maybe struggling a little, maybe having some issues, maybe getting a cut on the cheek, right? To create that nice looking scar and so that they're able to do this gesture, right? That's usually what happens. Maybe they, like, I don't know, break an arm or something. But in the end, they emerge victorious. They go friendship, power, mana release, and kill the demon lord. That's usually what happens. No such thing in this case. Just Fran just getting disarmed. Forgive the pun. It was on purpose, but forgive it. Yeah, that's exactly my reaction. What? You can do that? As in anime, in manga, in light novel, you can do that? You can have a main character that gets seriously injured? That loses to the first boss? Is that allowed? Is there no law against it? Why has so few authors been doing that? That's my that's my thoughts on the matter. I've been reading a lot of isekai manga recently. I don't know what came over me. I just have like 7 different isekais open on manga decks and I'm reading them. Most of them are the exact same beat for beat, and it hurts. It hurts because there are so few of those like gems that you have to really spend the time to find them. And what's worse is those gems are usually the ones that aren't really updated all that often. Like, I keep mentioning the one about the galactic commander or whatever that came to a medieval planet. That's a great manga, hasn't been updated for a while, and there's plenty others. Mouse-sama Retry isn't getting updated that often. Um, the one about the genius lady and something where I don't think that's an isekai. It's like a Yuri one where a girl doesn't have magic and she's trying to find ways to use magic through science, and she finds a some girl that was supposed to marry to her brother and takes her as an assistant. You know what I mean? It's getting an anime fairly soon, I think. I don't know when actually, but it's getting an anime. But yeah, there are very few isekais out there that actually do something interesting. Very often it's just a dude gets summoned to the world and is powerful. Or maybe a dude dies and goes to another world and is powerful. Or recently I noticed an uptick in the kind of isekai where it's a self isekai, I like to call it, where there's like a big, huge mage. More often than not, he's a mage or a sorcerer that lives and is so powerful and thinks, oh, I'm too powerful, I need a challenge, and so reincarnates himself like 10,000 years into the future as a young kid, and the magic usually is super weak in that world, and he has normal magic for his time, but it's super strong in this world. There's like 3 different manga about that I've read. 2 of them are legit identical until like chapter 6 or 7. Then they start to diverge. I went on a big rant about isekai mangas. But yeah, more of this. More of different. Please, I beg of you, more different. If I could draw, I'd make my own fucking isekai manga, but I can't draw for shit. I guess I'm gonna have to write a light novel and hope that someone's gonna adapt it to a manga one day. Okay, and rant. Let's go back to the episode. I really did not expect it. I really didn't. And Fran acting so shocked, so like in complete stupor, looking at the stabs of her hands. Jesus Christ, that's visceral. That's like it really creates that visceral, guttural response of, "Oh no, my wrists are starting to itch suddenly," right? They really did a great job here. And Shishou panicking, casting telekinesis, greater heal, flame wall, and whatnot. Thankfully, he was able to save the situation. Thankfully, Fran's disembodied hands didn't let go of the sword, because that would be bad. But yeah, she's back in full form. Still not quite enough, though. Of course, he has some ability to get into her shadow. I thought she's just gonna stab the shadow. She instead launched herself off for some reason. I'm not entirely clear on the tactics of that move, I guess. Poison, not gonna cut it. Unfortunately, still not strong enough. Yeah, so much for the cliche of the underdog taking out the big boss. Exactly. Kind of self-referential humor here. Next time he slips up and gives us an opening, use the feather of return to get out of here. Please do. Please do, because as it is now, you're not gonna beat him unless you pull some anime bullshit, which honestly might happen because it is an anime. And where are you gonna pull anime bullshit if not in an anime, right? But yeah, you've got better agility and swordsmanship, but I can just take them away. with skill taker. Not copying the skills, taking them away, taking them from someone and granting them to oneself. That's going to be a useful skill in Shishou's arsenal, that's for sure. Because, like, don't get me wrong, this whole battle is surprising and is unusual, and there are like actual real stakes here and actual real danger, as we were shown. But it's still anime protagonist versus anime antagonist, so we know who's going to win. That was never up to question. So I have no doubt that Shishou is gonna get this skill sooner or later. If not now, if they don't recall now and run and then make another attempt, um, then sometime in the future, when they recall from here, or maybe they beat the demon enough for him to return to whence he came, and then they make another attempt, like at the end of the season, for example. They take their time training and growing, leveling up, collecting skills, stuff like that, and then there's a big showdown at the end of the season. I can see it going this way because honestly, uh, I don't want to call it an issue, but it's something I noticed while watching Symphogear Axis as well, where in Symphogear Axis they jumped the shark in like episode 3 or episode 4, and I'm wondering where are they gonna go from there? They went from there somewhere for sure in the last episode I've seen. They can jump the shark a couple more times, I think, but it does beg the question, if you show us this kind of battle with this kind of enemy, where do you go from there? Now, he's still not like a full high demon lord or whatever, so there are still layers above him. You can still fight the demon lord, you can still fight, I don't know, demon general, and you can go steps and steps and steps. In the meantime, you can fight the dragon or what have you. But showing us this intense of a battle with this high of stakes, with this amount of failure on the side of our main character, such early fight, such early encounter, and we're already struggling, right? So where do you go from there? Do you just scale everybody up? Do you just scale Fran and Shishou up, but then you also scale the opponent up? So every battle is the exact same, except the stakes are just higher, and the intensity of the combat is higher? Or how do you do that, right? I'm not saying that in like a negative way of as if, I don't know, scaling the main character and the villains up with each encounter was anything bad. It's just something you can do, and something some shows and some manga and some light novels and other pieces of media do. So I wonder how they're gonna do that. Is he gonna be a recurring villain? Is he gonna be the big bad boss of the season? Are we gonna start killing progressively bigger villains? Is the demon country gonna take note of Fran's existence, and they're gonna be like, hey, let's start sending some demon generals after her, because if she's allowed to grow and develop, she's gonna take down our motherfucking demon king, and we wouldn't want that. We like our king. He has low taxes and supports us, and we don't want that king to die, right? So I wonder, and I can't wait. I honestly can't wait for more. There's plenty of good anime this season. Shin Renkin Jutsushi, it's good. It's not like mind-blowingly good, but it's good, chill, serious. Gundam is great. Arcanine has been great so far. Symphogear is great. Madoka Magica that I've been watching is great. But this one kind of strikes my fancy the most. I don't want to call this series like the best out of them all, but it has just the right combination of things that interest me, that I find great, that I find fascinating, that I like. It's like a perfect storm of all those factors, and I'm really liking it, and I really want more. And the fact that this episode was this short and wasn't like stretched to 40 something minutes, that's a travesty. I'm already waiting for season 2. I hope this does well and we're gonna get season 2. Yeah. Anything more? You'll die where you stand. And yeah, ending. And that's about it. That's about it for episode 5 of Tensei Shitara Ken Deshita. And to kind of continue my thought, I already can't wait for more seasons of it. And I think it has a chance, an actual real chance to get more seasons. Because it's an isekai show that's done with a modicum of effort. Right? There is some actual effort and some actual artistry and some actual budget and people put into that to create something good. Very often you can almost immediately see when a show is just gonna be essentially little more than an ad for the light novel. All those seasonal isekai trash that look like they were made in Photoshop with some free gradients and some free brushes, and then just someone drew some characters, and that's about it. And the backgrounds are just, I know, Blender renders, and it's just bad. Kind of like Shinmai Renkin Jutsushi. Now, again, Shinmai Renkin Jutsushi is a good overall, but the backgrounds, when they're not like hand painted, because they do have some cool watercolor backgrounds, but sometimes they have like a cupboard that's just a couple of lines and a layer of like free GIMP wood 03 texture overlaid on top, and it doesn't look great. This one actually has some effort put into everything. So with this much budget and this much time spent onto it, I'm assuming if it does well, it might actually get a sequel, and I would love that. It's episode 5, merely episode 5, and I'm already thinking of a sequel. That's how you can say a series is good when I already know that 12 episodes isn't going to be enough to satiate me. Yeah, yeah, 12 episodes not enough. I need more. Where are the days of like long form anime? It's a bit of a side rant, I guess, but I remember the days of Bleach, Naruto. What else was running there? I know Beelzebub is also, it's like 80 something episodes, I think. One Piece, it's still running. Dragon Ball, it's still running, right? But all those shows nowadays, 12 episodes, take it or leave it. If you're lucky, you're gonna get 13 episodes and an OVA, but besides that, just fuck off. Uh, I don't know. On one hand, that's cool because they have more time to make a full-on season. They can take like a year to make a season. Meanwhile, with those long-running ones, they have like a week to make an episode, and it's sometimes not enough. It's very often not enough. That's why you have filler episodes, for example. That's why art style in Naruto looks the way it looks because they're on a timer. The clock's ticking. Um, but yeah, that was a great episode. I really didn't expect this turn of events. It really shows me yet again that this series is so much more than seasonal isekai trash. And I fear that many people dismissed it. Because, oh, it's an isekai and the main character is a sword. Whoop de fucking do. It's just another reincarnated as a washing machine, and they're just trying to be haha funny and self referential, and it's just gonna be garbage. Because there's plenty of manga and light novels like that, where the only difference is like, I've been reincarnated as a book, or as a toilet, or as a salt shaker, and it's just a comedy and maybe they're gonna fight a demon lord where the soul shaker is able to create super souls that superpowers the main character or whatever kind of bullshit they do nowadays. Meanwhile, this is genuinely good series, and I hope people give it a chance. Maybe if you know someone who's been apprehensive from watching that, do recommend the series to them. Maybe I don't know, link them a timestamp of my video when I'm talking about it, and maybe that's gonna convince them that it's genuinely worth watching. I've seen a lot of seasonal isekai trash. I've read a lot of isekai trash. This isn't isekai trash. This is isekai gold, honestly. On the level of Overlord, on the level of Yojo Senki, on the level of, I don't know, Log Horizon. Thumbs up and a seal of approval, honestly. But yeah, I think that's gonna be it. Bit of a shorter episode, but then again, the meat and potatoes of this episode was just the final fight, and the fight with the goblins was just kind of skippable, honestly. It was fun, but not much to discuss there. But yeah, I think that's gonna be it from me for right now. But maybe you have something to say, maybe you have something to add, and if so, do say so down in the comments below. What did you think of this episode, of my reaction, of my theories, stuff like that? As long as you don't spoil me things, everything is fair game in the comments. If you do want to talk spoilers, don't do that down there. Do it on my Discord, here, and also link in the description. Join it. There's a Tensei Shitara channel there which you can join, and you can use spoiler tags to talk spoilers freely, because I'm not gonna read them. Like this video if you liked it, dislike it if you disliked it, but tell me why so I can improve. Subscribe to the channel to be notified of future releases, like not only Tensei Shitara Ken Deshita, but also I mentioned other shows, Madoka Magica, the movie I'm gonna be watching sometime in the unspecified future, Symphogear Axis, Shinmai Renki Jitsushi no Tenpo Kei, the Novice Alchemist anime, Arknight's Prelude to Dawn as a veteran player of the game, and I'm also watching. What else am I watching? I think that's it. Or am I watching something else? No, I think that's it. Besides that, I also Symphogear. I mentioned Symphogear. I think I mentioned Symphogear. But yeah, I also stream sometimes. Gachas mostly. Arknights recently I've been streaming, so you might wanna click the bell for that to be notified whenever I go live. What's next? Subscribe, support the channel if you want monetarily. Patreon thrown on Patreon for $10 a month to get early access to non-seasonals like Madoka, like Symphogear, like whatever's gonna come in the future. And for just $1, you get a role on the Discord, and you can also get a place in the credits that you're gonna see shortly. On Throne, you can pitch in directly towards my purchase of better lighting, better camera, stuff like that. And if you don't want to spend any money whatsoever, for whatever reason, share my content, spread the word. That really does help the channel a lot in a measurable way. So I'm forever grateful to everybody who linked that video to their friends on Skype or whatever. But yeah, right now, that's gonna be it from me for today. So as always, you guys do all the good stuff, and I'm gonna see you in the next one. Cheers! And here's the list of patrons, here's the credits as I mentioned, and you can be one of them if only your heart desires.